She said it calmly, almost indifferently, as if there had never been years between them. No vows, no shared life. He just stood there watching, silent, not because he had nothing to say, but because he understood. Nothing was falling apart in that moment. Everything was simply revealing its true place. No dramatic fights, no outbursts, just a coldness that couldn't be chased away by words or memories. He didn't try to stop her, didn't beg. Instead, he waited for the evening and made his move. From that point on, everything unraveled quickly. Unfamiliar faces, exposed names, illusions that vanished in an instant. Someone thought they were in control of the game, but he had already rewritten the rules, quietly, precisely, down to the last detail. And when it was all over, only one question remained. Who underestimated whom? Hello, my friend. I'm so glad you stopped by my channel. If you're here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends or family. It really helps my channel a lot. Please tell me in which city or country you watched this video. I value every one of your comments. So let's get started. Juliana's voice cut through the room, sharp and incredulous. So that's it? I really just said that out loud, didn't I? You're seriously all right with me going on a date with someone else this Friday night? The shock in her voice couldn't be mistaken. I'm not okay with it, I answered calmly. But what choice do I have? You've made your stance obvious. I don't control you. Your choices are yours alone. Everything about her, the way she stood, the stubborn tilt of her chin, the cool determination in her stare, told me she was committed to doing exactly what she said. So tell me, what other option do I have? I continued. I'll be home later, she said, brushing my concern aside. Don't let your pride ruin this. I love you, and I'll make it right somehow. I looked at her directly, steady and unflinching. So, you admit this isn't right then? What? No, she said, recoiling. That's not what I meant. I deserve this. And you really think your parents, or mine, would support that idea? Her eyes dropped to the floor. She didn't answer. That silence was louder than any confession. I let it hang there between us, long enough to watch the conflict playing across her face. You know they wouldn't. And the fact that you even said you'll make it up to me? That's your conscience speaking. When did I ever say that? She snapped, suddenly defensive. Why else would you need to make amends if you weren't doing something wrong? If it were just dinner or a spa appointment, there'd be nothing to make up for. But it's not. And you know it. That's why, whether you want to admit it or not, this is a breach of morality. Her voice trembled as she spoke. But you said I could go. No, I said firmly. I didn't give you permission. I said I wouldn't physically stop you. I hesitated, then added, I wish you'd choose to spend the evening with me instead, or stay home. We could go to those places together, dinner, dancing, any time. But we both know this isn't about food or nightlife. This is about the kind of man you're curious about. And I'm not some corporate brand you're trying to partner with. I hope you realize how much I want to be with you. She didn't answer, just looked away again. What's his name? I asked quietly. That doesn't matter, she muttered. All right then. I won't argue anymore, but hear me out. I don't want you going anywhere with this Prince Charming, and yes, there will be consequences. She scoffed. Oh yeah? What kind? The same kind you've already triggered by entertaining him, I said. You'll see soon enough. You're not just beautiful, you're smart. I've told you that again and again, not out of obligation, but because it's true. So I'll let you figure out for yourself what happens when you choose him over me. You're bluffing, she said. You love me. You always give me what I ask for. And right now, this is all I'm asking. I told you, I'll come back. We'll love each other again, grow old together. I can't force you to be wiser, I said quietly. But don't pretend no one warned you. From here on out, you're walking alone. I picked up my keys and left, cutting off whatever words she was about to say. In the days that followed, the apartment felt colder, more distant. By Thursday, the air between us had turned to stone. I packed my clothes and relocated to the guest bedroom. She stood in the doorway, confused. "Frederick, what are you doing?" I paused, folding a shirt, and looked up. "I guess I thought better of you. What does it look like I'm doing?" "You're seriously moving out?" she asked, the first sign of concern flickering in her expression. "Yes," I said. "My wife decided to test the waters with someone new. You think I'm going to lie beside someone who's already emotionally gone?" Her laugh was bitter, biting. "You're unreal. Acting like some heartbroken schoolboy just because your ego got dented." I didn't reply, just walked over to the guest closet and began hanging my things. "Oh, I see," she sneered. "Silent treatment for the villainous. That's your big move? Pathetic." All I said was one word: consequences. She couldn't claim surprise, not after everything. That Friday, I left the office early and stopped by a sleek unisex salon. Got a sharp haircut, a close shave with a straight razor, and a clean, subtle manicure. No gloss. Next door, I picked up a crisp dress shirt, tailored slacks, and a fitted jacket from a boutique. I considered shoes, but passed. New ones are no good for dancing. On the way home, I had the truck detailed until it gleamed. Back at the apartment, I showered thoroughly. Somewhere in the distance, I heard her return and head to her own bathroom. I went downstairs and sat in the living room. About 30 minutes later, she descended the stairs in a sleek black dress I'd never seen before, with a neckline that made a statement. She paused at the bottom step, clearly waiting for my reaction. When I said nothing, she looked again. This time, her eyes widened slightly. "Damn, you look amazing. Where are you going?" "Out," I said flatly. I mirrored her earlier tone with intentional sarcasm. "What? Did you think I'd just sit here all night, bored and waiting like a loyal little doormat until Her Highness decided to return?" I shook my head as I opened the garage door. "And to think, I once believed you had good instincts. Fascinating how wrong I was." I didn't want to leave Marissa waiting. Grinning to myself, I slid behind the wheel of my spotless truck, just as her voice rang out behind me. Sharp, teasing, direct hit. That night, we found ourselves nestled into a quiet little wine lounge known for its low light and inviting charm. Gentle piano music floated through the space, mingling with the clink of glasses and quiet laughter. On the weekends, couples danced. Tonight, we just sat close and let the music speak for us. Marissa laughed at my jokes with an ease that felt rare, her laughter ringing out like a song I didn't realize I'd been missing. It's one of those universal truths: nothing beats the warmth of a woman who truly gets your humor. The connection between us, which had started with innocent conversations in the office, bloomed effortlessly. There were soft, fleeting touches, fingers brushing, a kiss at the corner of my mouth, her breath near my ear, that carried a dangerous thrill. And yet, we both knew the boundaries. I was still a married man, after all. So we danced along that invisible line, never quite crossing it, but getting awfully close. Time slipped by as we sipped our drinks, our eyes often lingering longer than they should, saying what we didn't dare speak aloud. When I dropped her off, Marissa left her signature with playful mischief, a hint of perfume dabbed on my collar, lipstick smeared just enough to be noticed. She pressed a quick kiss to my cheek, then murmured with a wink, "Go get 'em, Tiger." We both chuckled, and I drove off into the night. I walked through the front door just before 10, already bracing for the storm. Juliana met me with fire in her eyes. "Where the hell have you been?" "None of your business," I replied, my voice cool. "You don't fill me in when you sneak off with your mystery man." If you'd spent less time lying and sneaking around, maybe I'd ask if you were being safe. But the truth is, I stopped caring. You made things painfully clear, and in a strange way. I'm grateful. What the hell are you talking about? She demanded, tension thick in her voice. I stared straight at her. If you hadn't been dumb enough to suggest we open this marriage, I never would have gotten so close to Marissa. She's incredible, by the way, and drop-dead gorgeous. I gave a half smile. Thanks for that, by the way. Juliana screamed, loud, piercing. For a second, I glanced toward the blinds, wondering if the neighbors would call in a noise complaint. You want to know why I chose her first? I said calmly. Because I knew it would drive you up the wall. Her expression twisted, stunned, and slack-jawed. What did you just say? You heard me. You keep getting credit you don't deserve. This isn't complicated. You tossed our marriage aside like trash, chasing after some faceless nobody. You dressed up in outfits you never once wore for me, acting like some lovesick teenager, and now you're shocked I finally stopped waiting around? You made the rules, I said evenly. I just followed them. Only difference is, I was upfront about what I was doing. You? You can't even say his name. That's either guilt, shame, or both. So tell me, genius, what exactly are you crying about? Her eyes flared, but I could already see the cracks forming. Her lips trembled. I kept going. Let me guess, Jeremy Radcliffe wasn't the Prince Charming you pictured? She gasped, covering her mouth as if to stop herself from sobbing. How do you know about Jeremy? She whispered. I shifted my tone, mocking. Let's hear it for our contestant. She's just now catching on. Use your brain, Juliana. You work with a dozen women who all talk, and Jeremy's known for being a serial flirt. You used to laugh along with the gossip. Did it never occur to you that maybe you were just next on his list? Your so-called friends didn't hold back. For weeks, they've been filling me in on how you were falling all over yourself for him. Honestly, you didn't look like a victim. You looked like a volunteer. One of them said you gave him these pathetic, moony eyes. Maybe he dumped someone to chase you, maybe not. Either way, karma's a killer. Oh, and tonight? I added, tilting my head. Tonight was supposed to be your big night, wasn't it? A room at the Marriott, right? I watched her closely. That's his move. First night's all glitz at the Marriott, then it's straight to her place or a budget motel after that. You really didn't know? Her face collapsed as the truth hit. Her defenses crumbled. She fell apart, tears pouring freely now. Oh, Frederick, she sobbed. I've been so incredibly stupid. I don't even know how you can stand to look at me. Well, I said, steady and final, you won't have to much longer. Because I'm done, Juliana. I'm done being married to someone who's this reckless, this weak. The divorce papers will be on the counter tomorrow morning. There's 3 months left on this lease. It's a rental, so decide if you want to stay or move on. Her voice was barely audible. Where will you go? Marissa offered me a room at her place, I told her. It's technically her home office, but it'll do for now. Once the divorce is finalized, she wants to talk about what's next. It's promising. I'm actually looking forward to the future, I continued. And don't worry, we'll split everything evenly. You can sleep with whoever you want. No guilt, no questions. You won't have to worry about disappointing your boring husband ever again. Just hope Jeremy was worth it. Epilogue. Eventually, I ended up talking with a few other guys whose wives also got reeled in by Jeremy, Mr. Smooth Talker. Turns out I wasn't alone. Misery loves company, sure. But more than that, it breeds clarity and resolve. One evening, shortly after clearing away the remnants of dinner, he stepped outside, only to be met with a scene of calculated destruction. His car had been ruthlessly vandalized. Every window shattered, the paint clawed with deep, malicious gouges, the seats smeared with what appeared to be soiled baby diapers, and all 4 tires stripped clean off. Other damages hinted at a chilling level of intent. As he stood frozen, trying to comprehend the devastation, 3 masked figures, dressed head to toe in black, emerged soundlessly from the shadows. They stripped him of his possessions and delivered a savage, targeted assault, leaving him curled in agony. Law enforcement couldn't piece it together. The level of violence, particularly the deliberate trauma inflicted on his lower body, didn't line up with a simple robbery for a knockoff Rolex and a half-empty wallet. Surveillance cameras, which might have caught the incident, had been systematically disabled. There were no bystanders, no usable footage, and no leads. The case stalled almost instantly. The officers assigned to investigate were reportedly occupied elsewhere that night, deep into a private poker game at a colleague's home. After weeks of recovery, Jeremy made a decision. He packed up his life and left the state behind. Where he landed is still unclear, and frankly, it doesn't matter much now. Juliana also moved forward, first relocating to her own apartment, and eventually leaving the city completely. Once she understood that I had found stability and warmth with Marissa, she chose to sever all remaining ties and begin anew somewhere far away. Our paths never crossed again. For a while, Marissa and I stayed together, but over time, we both came to the same quiet realization. Physical comfort didn't equate to lasting peace. Eventually, I bought a townhouse nearby and carved out a simpler, more solitary life. In the years that followed, I changed. I became more grounded, more resilient in mind and body. Through regular visits to the gym, I met someone unexpected. What started as easy conversation and shared routines slowly deepened into something far more meaningful. With her, I experienced a kind of fulfillment I hadn't known in years, rooted in genuine care, emotional depth, and intellectual connection. This story has come to an end. What's your opinion? Share it in the comments, my friend. And if you liked this story, check out other exciting videos on my channel. I'll say goodbye until the next video. See you.